Hey YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin. If you're new here, if you're not, thank you so much for stopping back by. It means a lot to me. So today we are going to talk about my June budget, how I plan to spend my money in June. And let me just say, things are going to be looking a lot different this month. We'll just dive right in here. And I apologize in advance. Travis is mowing the lawn, so there might be some pauses here or like cut scenes where I cut out where he is noisily mowing the lawn. So anyway, let's do this. For my housing and utilities, I have my split bills, my mortgage, the mortgage is $444.95. Electricity, I'm fingers crossed, is going to be 75 or less. Water, $10.18. We are on city water, but not city sewer, so that's why it's cheap. Internet, $23, and trash, my half will be $14. We decided that despite our trash bill changed to every 3 months, but the cost is the same. And so we're just gonna have kind of a sinking fund in my checking account, and we're each gonna still contribute $14 a month until we have to pay. So that's how that's gonna go. And then my phone is not split, and it is $37.76 for a limited data straight talk plan. So those are my housing and utility costs. Auto, we will move right along. Auto insurance is $147.96 for full coverage on 2 vehicles. So it does look like a lot, but it is what it is. I have full coverage and it feels good. So fuel, I've upped that from 75 to 100. Turns out I've been moving a little bit more lately. We have a lot of things coming up in June. It's summertime. We have just so much to do. So I'm expecting I'm going to have to drive more, but I am also cautiously optimistic that somehow I will keep my fuel cost under $100. Seems unlikely, but I'm going to try. Debt, my debt section. We have my auto loan payment to $90 is my minimum payment, and then extra debt payments, I plan to put $425 towards that auto loan. And then for care credit, this is not my debt, so it will not be on my debt payoff updates, but it is something that I am taking responsibility for and paying. It's for my mom. It's very important, so not a big deal, but it's going to be $400 in June. And then I don't know what it's going to be after that, because if you don't know anything about care credit, there's like a promotional period of no interest. And so I don't know how long of a period she's going to get, because it's going to be in her name. I'm just going to be paying it off. So it's great because it's going to help her credit score as well. But yeah, I'm just not sure what it's going to look like month to month. Fingers crossed that $200 a month will be enough, but we'll see. I want to make sure that no interest ends up getting tacked on. So I'll make sure that it's paid off in time. That may mean slowing down my auto payments if I have to, but fingers crossed we won't have to do that. It should be, we're hoping it's going to be less than $2,500 total for the work that she's getting done. It is dentures, so it is vital. She does need them. It's not cosmetic. But anywho, that is the debt section. So you'll see that in my budget with me videos, but again, not in the debt payoff because it is not my debt. So food, I have $250 for groceries and $50 for restaurants. And let me just say, this is a very optimistic goal as well. As with fuel, it's been really hard to stick to these food and fuel budgets, and I have to try, but I don't know how it's going to go. And I have some sinking funds that I can pull from if I have to. So that's kind of my mentality, is just do my best to try to keep to this budget. But I may just have to reevaluate going into July because food costs have been pretty rough. But I do know I have some bad habits with food as well, where I buy snacks and things that I really don't need. I just like them, and so I think I could cut back a little bit on that stuff and just cook a little bit more. So we'll see. I'm optimistic. Entertainment section, I do have Spotify Premium, so that's $9.99. I have it because I run outside a lot and I need music when I run. And I don't have good service, so that's why. Amazon Prime, $6.99. Paramount Plus for $5.99, and Hulu for 99 cents. These together add up because my mom shares her Netflix with us. So in the coming months, we may have some pretty significant shifts to the subscriptions just because Netflix is being stupid. So we might cancel that, and I might take on some other subscription to make up for not having Netflix, because we have like 2 families watching all these shows and stuff. So it's nice to have multiple options because screen limits and things like that. So yeah, and my mom's disabled. My dad is kind of disabled. So like they're just home all the time. So it works. But anyway, you'll notice I no longer am paying for a $5 podcast every month. I may someday do that again, but I've done this before. I catch up on all the episodes and then I cancel it again. And then, maybe in like 3 or 4 months, I'll pay for it for a couple months and catch up on all the episodes I missed. So, it actually is one where you can listen to it for free, but I like to watch the videos. I just absorb the information better. So anyway, not paying for that for a while. And then I have my miscellaneous section here. This is the Humane Society. That's a donation I'm hoping I can make. And if so, I'll get the match from my company as well. So it'll be a $50 donation. 25 of it will be for me. Household toiletries, I usually keep this around 70 or 75, but we're pretty stocked right now. We just need a couple small things, so I think 50 will get us through for June. And then for personal spending, I only have 50 here. I'm thinking I need to do better at this because I'm really bad at going to Walmart and buying clothes. Like that, flat out, that's the problem. So I'm gonna try my best to avoid Walmart. And actually in the last couple months, I've found jeans that fit, work clothes, as well as like replaced enough of my leggings that didn't fit to be really comfortable with all my clothes now. So I don't really need anything. The only thing I can think of is maybe a swimsuit top, but we'll just see. I'll try to make my swimsuits work. We'll just see. Next up, we have miscellaneous, $30 there. It's pretty low. I'm gonna aim for the stars here and keep these costs low this month. I might have to shift things for the rest of the year. Things might look a little skimpy in some of these areas just because of that care credit and the fact that I don't want to compromise my debt payoff or my retirement contributions. And so I'm pulling to make the care credit work. I'm pulling from other areas before I pull from those. So we'll just kind of see how it goes next month once I find out how much the total is going to be on that care credit. So fingers crossed it's lower than I'm expecting, but we'll see. Plan for the worst, be surprised when it's not that bad, right? So moving on to the savings and sinking fund section here. I apologize, I don't have my beginning balances in here because I am filming this before May ends. So I'll put those in there and you'll see them. You'll see them in the recap video. But for today, we're just gonna go over it. Just keep in mind, I do have a spent and saved column in my savings and sinking funds because you do spend money out of them sometimes. And it's important to me to separate those so that my charts look better. So first up, we have Roth IRA at $250. I have not had to compromise that a single time this year yet. So I am gonna keep trying to make sure that I make that target. And then for my brokerage account, $25. Propane, $75. And really, I should have upped that a long time ago. Propane costs are through the roof, but I'm hitting this goal at least. So we'll see what happens when we have to buy propane. Home, I have dropped that throughout the year from $250 all the way down to $175 now. Hopefully I can keep it at least above $100 throughout the year. Home maintenance, you just never know what you're going to need. And we're still in the thick of renovation. We do plan for a slow renovation process at this house. We talked about it recently, and we're thinking it's going to be more like 7 to 10 years instead of a 4 to 5 year turnaround of moving out, just because we have a good house and we love it. So there's no real reason to rush out of it until we are really financially stable, and we both have debt still. So it just doesn't make sense to be trying to rush and stress ourselves out. Now we could shorten that plan if we get into a better situation, but for now we're thinking 7 to 10 years of this house, and that will give us plenty of time to do a lot of really awesome projects and really make it a great place before we sell it. So yeah, while the reno is going slower, I still want to make sure I'm putting stuff back for house maintenance as well as renovation. So next up we have vehicles. That is going to be $100, and I may or may not actually have to spend it this month. I've already re-registered my vehicles, but I do need a jack for my car before I do a lot of distance driving. I had to borrow Travis when I drove to Alabama, so we'll kind of see. Vacations, it used to be $275 and now I'm putting $175. I do have some savings for vacations, but I've had to spend a ton on wedding related stuff, so bachelorette trips, and I've been pulling from this to cover the cost of like dresses and alterations. And you'll see a comment here. I actually had to buy 2 more bridesmaid dresses because the ones that I have do not fit in a series of unfortunate events. Actually, let me know in the comments if you would be interested in a video about the costs of being in your friends' weddings, because it has been expensive. But I do want to really be clear, that's not a complaint. It's just a note. Like, it is not cheap always to be in a wedding. So I might do a video talking about that. But shout out to the brides that I am in their weddings, because they have done a lot to try to help mitigate costs and make it fun, and just are not bridezillas at all. So I've been really lucky with that. I just got unlucky that I'm a little chunky monkey and my dresses didn't fit. So that's not anybody's fault but mine. So anywho, I got 2 new ones. Fingers crossed they fit better. And I'm moving right along in the gift section. I put 50 here. I usually put 25, but I also usually go over. So I'm trying to mitigate that a little bit and just plan ahead for having to spend money on gifts. I love gift giving. So it's something I'm like really bad about. If I go into a store and I see something for somebody, I want to get it for them. So I got one, I need to avoid stores. But also, we do have at least one more wedding to buy a gift for, so I knew I was going to need a little something in there, and I decided to double it this month just to try to cover that, and just, yeah, anyway. Family, I'm going to leave this in this chart for the time being because even after I pay the care credit off, I'm going to continue to save or spend on my family every month. So just leaving it there. And then for emergencies, I have $100 going into my emergency fund. And that is about it for savings and sinking funds. It's not as stellar as I would like it to be, but it's still a lot of money going into savings, and I feel really good about it. I'm lucky to be in a situation where I can still be paying my debt down a lot faster and not making minimum payments and still saving for retirement on top of my 401k, because I do have a 401k, but I'm able to also save in my Roth IRA, which is stellar. So yeah, fortunate, but I will be so happy when I'm out of debt and done paying for the big care credit expense, just because it is going to be a good day. Because think about this, I'm putting $290 to my car plus $425 every month, plus now $200 a month. So that's like nearly $1,000 a month that I will be able to put towards other things and possibly just live a little more, you know, not worry about my grocery budget as much, things like that. So I'm very excited for the day that I don't have to penny pinch as much. But until then, we are going to be meticulous about this budget, and I'm going to do my best to do a lot better than I have the last few months. So you guys just cheer me on. We got this. Next up, I'll go over my income. I don't expect a whole lot extra coming in. So paycheck number 1 is going to be $1,594. Paycheck number 2, $1,594. And then I'm taking out the $200 that was in my family spending sinking fund. And that's why I was able to put $200 towards it plus this $200. So that's $400 for the first month of that care credit. Knock out a big chunk in the beginning. That'll feel great. And then I think I'm going to be able to cash out about $10 from surveys on the go. I'm hoping for a little more, but we will see. So that's about it. I can't think of any other extra income I might be able to make. I would love to. We are going to do a yard sale, but like you literally cannot guess how much you're going to make from a yard sale because we're selling stuff dirt cheap. Like I'd be lucky to make $20. So I'm going to try, and I'm trying to get rid of a ton of stuff, but we will see what happens with the yard sale. So I didn't want to include it because I don't want to count on it. So lastly, I'll go over my little donut here. It looks like I'm going to be spending exactly 20% on housing, which is cool. 7% on auto, 32% on debt, which feels great if I can just hit those marks. That's great. Food, 8%, almost 9%. And then savings is 25%. But that actual rate is going to be lower because I am going to spend some of the money out of those sinking savings. I probably am not going to actually be able to put that full almost 26% into savings, but I will hopefully hit 20. We'll see. And then entertainment's really small amount, 7% or 0.7%. And then my miscellaneous section, that personal spending, that kind of stuff, that's 4.6%. So in the grand scheme, I think I'm doing really well, but it's still, I'm in a season of penny pinching. So that's all I can say. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Let me know if you have any questions, concerns about my budget. But feel free to also just cheer me on in the comments. I appreciate every single one. And I will catch you in the next video. Have a good morning, noon, or night, whatever it is for you.